What's going on? Welcome to the Nightly Painting Studio. My name's Corbin, and it's really good to be with you tonight. Hey, just looking at my streaming software here, it's just telling me that there's quite a few dropped frames. So, Francis, I see you in the chat. If anybody else is in the chat right now, let me know if you're experiencing some lag. I want to make sure that the stream is actually decent quality. So it's saying it's kind of every like 15 seconds it's just dropping. So I'm pretty quiet. Is that better? Let me know if that audio is a little louder for you. Didn't have the mic in front of me. See if I can't figure out the right settings here. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, excited to be with everybody tonight. It's been a little bit. I got visited by Papa Nurgle. He gave me his gifts, and it was not a good time. So, thanks for your patience. Yeah, I was actually at a work conference before that, and then got sick, and so yeah. Fun stuff. Life has been lifing, but yeah, excited to get back and get painting again. Yeah, I have been able to put a little bit of work into the Tempestus Aquilons, so I'm excited to get cracking on those tonight. You know, I get to use one of my favorite paints tonight, which is a gold recipe that I've been using really since I started on my Black Templars. So it'll be very similar to the gold that I used in the Dreadnought tutorial that's on the channel. So you can always follow along there. But yeah, it's gonna be good. Hopefully this is helpful to anybody that's watching live or watching after the fact. But yeah, tonight's focus is really going to be on the metallic paints and the way that I'm using those on these miniatures. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in. As always, would love your feedback, any questions that you might have. Would love to answer them as best I can. I don't have all the answers, but I've been painting for a good bit, so would love to help in any way that I can. So with that being said, let's go ahead and pop over to the main camera and get painting. All right, here we are. Yeah, so you can see kind of this first row of the Tempestus. So some of them are still in the no metallics phase, but pretty much everything else on them is done. Let's see if I can't zoom in a little bit there. There we go. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it. Love the way the armor came out, and yeah, everything's just looking right on these so far. So yeah, that's with everything blacked in, with the leather done, the pants done, or the cloth, I guess you could say, and stripes, all that jazz. So yeah, excited to keep moving on those. But then here is one with the metallics. finished on, well, the silver metallics finished on him. So, what's up, Steel Spider? Welcome to the live stream. Excited to have you here. Let me know what you're working on. Seems like you love painting trim, so you'd probably love painting these. Yeah, blacking everything out on these was nuts. So, but yeah, so you can just kind of see that it's just a basic level of the metallic steel done on these, and the paint that I used was this Vallejo metal color exhaust manifold. It's a nice, like, darker steel color, but it's got like a little bit of that like kind of dirty brownish tone to it. So it works really well for weathered metallics. And the metal color series, just that natural shine that you get from them is awesome. So, and then here is the test model. So you can see kind of the result that we're going for here. So tonight I'm just going to show you guys how easily the silver paints go on, and then also we're going to work on the gold on these a little bit as well. So here's our little turret friend. He's got the extra weapons here. So yeah, they've been fun to paint. So a nice break from Black Templars and Tau. So yeah, in the chat, let me know what you guys are currently working on, what's on the paint disc. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to put a bit of this metal color paint into, I just like to collect these water bottle caps. I'll recycle the water bottle, but then I keep the caps and I use them for my metallic paints. And then I've just got like a kind of beat up synthetic brush here that still has a decent point to it. That way I can get in the little details. Yeah, let's go ahead and work on this one. And really, I'm just going to go around and I'm going to hit all of the sections that would be steel. And you can just see how nicely this paint, it truly is, in most cases, a one coat coverage metallic paint. It is so good. I started using these a number of years ago and have never looked back. Sometimes I will mix in Games Workshop metallic paints if I want something that's like a little thicker or with a slightly different hue. But this is for Kill Team. Just doing this unit. I kind of like that about Kill Team, that you kind of you can spend a lot of time on just one unit and make them look really good. My 40k army is Black Templars, and I have a small force of Tau as well. Great question, Steel Spider. Get that little cable there, and then we're just gonna get these power cells on his backpack. You know, I honestly, I'm just getting into the actual gaming of Kill Team. Steel Spider. So as far as the legending goes, I am not 100% sure what you're talking about. You can fill me in on that. But yeah, anytime they take options away from people, especially when they still sell the kits, and it's honestly, it's not that old of a kill team from my knowledge. If they are, you know, doing the same thing that they kind of did with 40K with Legends, that definitely is a feel bad moment. So I would hate that, if that was the case. Are they just kind of like not updating the rules for those moving forward? These little like leather buckles and stuff that are on here. Just kind of want to make sure you're working your way around the mini, putting all of the steel metallic sections, just getting those worked in. Francis says he's working on a couple of dreadnoughts for a tournament on Saturday. Nice, but snow has interfered with the desire to travel. Yeah, I get that. I used to live in Pennsylvania, so I live in Florida now, but the snow and having to get out in it at all was, yeah, not my favorite. Steel Spider, Kill Team moved to a new edition for balance reasons. They set a shelf life for some of the older Kill Team boxes. Okay. 2-3 years. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I guess with any game, you know, you do want to have some change, but at the same time, you know, Warhammer and its games are unique because it's not like you just go pick up a a set of cards and you can play with those cards, and if they decide to put those into, I'm just thinking about Magic or some of the other trading card games, like if they do a card rotation like that with those types of games, you know, it makes sense. Like, you go, you buy the card, you use the card. With something like Warhammer, the dynamic is just slightly different because of the amount of effort that goes into preparing your gaming pieces, I guess you could say. So yeah, I don't know. I can see, I guess, for balance reasons, I guess I could understand why they would do that. But at the same time, I think whenever they do things like that, it is just, it's not a good feeling for the players. And, you know, knowing my luck, I had this happen to me at the beginning of 10th edition 40K. I had basically just finished a Black Templars list for 9th edition 40K. And it wasn't like super meta list necessarily, but I had some units that were very good. And then everything changed for 10th, and things were not the same anymore, and the units didn't function the same way, and I was like, well, my list is basically invalid now, so cool. And that's I think I've done one game of 40K in 10th edition so far, so so yeah, that sucked the life right out of my desire to play that game. So, and I've been through multiple editions of 40K. I've been in the game since 4th edition. So I'm not unused to the game changing. That's not really my point. The massive shifts in the game, I think, cause a lot of fatigue. So but Phlogiston, good to see you in the chat. Welcome. Yeah, I'm not sure why it wouldn't have given a notification, but I'm glad you're here now. So, yeah, YouTube failed you for sure. Wasn't me, I promise. So, yeah, I know. I know there are certain formats that will switch stuff around in Magic. I thought that was kind of maybe an apt illustration of another game that, like, I really do just think the level of time and effort that people put into, and maybe not everyone, but like, if you're going to build the models and you're going to slap some paint on them, even if it's just the very basic level of paint, it takes time. That's a lot of prep time to get your stuff ready just to play a game, and then to have it invalidated at any point feels bad to me. And I think this is where Games Workshop has a pretty hard time, because, like, primarily they're a miniatures company that make a game that you use their miniatures for, and so they kind of have to figure out this balance of, like, well, how do we make a good game, but also hang tight. Phone's being wonky. There we go. Now we're back. But yeah, I think, you know, I'll say this. Play how you want to play. If they invalidate a team and you want to keep using it, find people to play with that don't have a problem with that. Life's too short. Time's too limited. I mean, obviously, if you want to go play in a tournament, you're probably going to have to abide by their rules, but that's kind of what you're in for if you're in that realm. It's just kind of something to be aware of. Games Workshop does this with all their games. But I think if you're just looking to have fun, play with people who are like-minded and will, you know, I guess sometimes bend rules or make adjustments to the game to make sure that everybody has a good time, because I think that's more important. Like, if you're not having fun with it, like there's just no point. So, but yeah, definitely feel you on that, Steel Spider. Definitely feel you on that. And like with Kill Team, at least the blow isn't quite as big as when it's like when 40k changes and it's like, oh, your 2,000 point army is now no longer valid and you need to paint 4 units to now be competitive. Like that's a lot. Time investment, money investment, all of it. But I know there are other opinions out there, so mine is not the right one. Mine is just my opinion. So, okay, I think we're close here. I think a lot of people are much faster painters than me, though, too, so my opinion is probably not the most normal opinion, but y'all can decide for yourself what you think. So, it looks like the stream has gotten a bit more stable. If you guys will let me know, like, is the video quality still okay? My computer seemed to be struggling right out the gate with this stream, so. Okay, so now I just have these. This is probably the most tedious part. I'm going to try to get up close here so you can kind of see what I'm doing, but I'm going to use just the very tip of the brush here. And I'm just going to go right along the edge of that buckle and try not to touch anything else. There we go. All right. See if I can't get in here. Just running right along the edge. Probably not going to be able to see this very well, but I gotta do what I gotta do to get in there. Alright, so we got our little leather buckles there. And that should be everything on this guy, so good to go with the silver. Actually, couple little studs right there. Okay. And these little buckles right here. So, you know, like any of these miniatures, once you get through a couple of them, you kind of know where all of the stuff is, and all the different pieces and parts that you want to paint in whatever color you're working on. So I find it easiest just to batch paint the particular color, and then not really move on from that until all of them are done. That really is what I find to be the easiest. That is soul sucking for a lot of people, though. So I think do what keeps your momentum going as a painter, because the last thing you want to do is slow down. So. Francis, I do agree with a little bit of your statement there. They can definitely, you have to. They definitely are trying to make money. We'll say that, and they do a good job at that. But it's not always to the benefit of the player, for sure. So what I'm going to do here is basically I'm going to use this gold, this metal color gold, and then I'm going to use some of this antique gold pure metal pigment. So basically we're just going to put a little bit of that. We're going to put just a tiny bit of flow improver in here as well. I'm just going to grab a good amount of this pigment. And we're just going to mix it all around. And what we get left with here is it's going to be kind of a greeny gold, because this metal color gold, as you can kind of tell by the cap, is a little more on the green side rather than like the orangey or yellowy gold. So this is actually going to work to our advantage for these minis, because if you haven't been with me through the whole process of these miniatures, the orange basically has been offset by we used a wash of this Plague Bear Flesh green, and it just has kind of given us this greenish tint along with the green on the base. It really has given us some good contrast with the nice orange armor. So I'm just going to take kind of the side of my brush and I'm gonna run this paint, and you just see how well this stuff flows right off the brush. And just be neat, be tidy, be careful. But it's going to give us this beautiful gold gold trim on here. And you're just going to want to try to be really careful about where you're placing it, because you know, you want to leave that black line as much as possible for this. I'm just going to consistently kind of go back and grab a little more just to make sure that it's staying at the right consistency. The paint is. And we're getting that nice metallic finish on it. Sure that I'm on the camera here. Okay. So now we got, you know, the trim up here on this. Just very lightly running my brush across these details, because like I said, I don't want to. The nice part about this paint is that it has really great flow. The difficult part about this paint is that it has really great flow. So if you aren't careful and you flood the detail, then it'll get everywhere. So. And then every now and then I'll just kind of go back into this and stir it up a little bit, make sure it's good and mixed up. Metallic paints can tend to have a different consistency or look to them, or even a different shine to them if they settle and all that kind of stuff. So just want to make sure you're keeping that paint as consistent as possible. take your time here. Nice and careful, just float around the model. You can see how I'm just kind of using the very tip of the brush. Just letting the paint kind of flow off of that. Onto that detail. This little bit right here. Takes just a little bit of focus. Sorry, I'm a little quiet. Painting on camera is just hard in general, but yeah, painting tiny details like this into that equation and gets even more difficult. So there's a little, skull with wings there. Okay, so details like this are really tough. So I gotta get right in here, and I'm gonna have to kind of use just that very end of the brush, and it looks like I'm gonna have to come back and touch up on the silver there a little bit, but as long as I'm not really hitting on the leather, I'm good. Okay. And then so another spot that is potentially a little tough is this. As you can see me just make a mistake there. Or maybe you can't. But yeah, getting this little gold trim here. Is pretty tough. Okay. Now I just have a couple small little final places, like these little skulls here on the boots. How we doing in the chat? Everybody still good? Still seeing everything okay? Alive. Y'all watch live streams like this and paint at the same time, or do you kind of watch and then? I'm just curious as to what other people's YouTube habits are. So with this, we're just kind of just barely touching along that raised area along the ridge of the helmet. So we have that nice black line that's still there for us. Gives us all that awesome separation in the different pieces. So, voila. Homework, nice. Chillin', wish he was painting. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Okay, so this guy is, barring any random pieces that I happen to see, he is, the gold is all done on this guy, so it didn't take too long. Just take some accuracy. So yeah, they're starting to look really similar here. So I feel like the focus isn't great. Here we go. It's a little better. The orange is definitely brighter on the models that were not my test model. It's a little more muted on this guy, but they'll go together nicely. So I am going to work on this. Put some gold on the robot here. Should be fun. Phlogiston asks, what's my go-to lens technique? Right now, black out the lens, throw some ivory on the lens, and throw contrast on it, is kind of the short answer. I really liked how the lenses on my Tau have come out. I'll pull one of those over here in a minute and kind of talk through. But it gives it that nice kind of glowy feel without being crazy involved, I guess. And you can kind of go as far with it as you want to go. It just kind of depends on how much effort you want to put in. I'm just going to take this guy off of the thing. Sometimes after a while, blue tack loses the stickiness. I've noticed. And these just do not stay tacked down as well. Okay. Contrast paint over silver. Yep, that works too. Yeah. You really, the idea is just to have a really light paint. Even a white is good. It really depends on the color that I'm using. So like for if I want the color to be a little warmer, I will go with the ivory paint. If I want it to be a little cooler, I will go with more of like a really light gray or pure white. And that's just, I guess, color theory. I don't know, but okay, that's nice. Okay. This gold is a mix of a couple golds. This is Green Stuff World Pure Metal Pigment with the Vallejo Metal Color Gold. So it's kind of a little more of a greeny old gold. But it's contrasting against the orange really nice. I felt like I felt like a really gold orange would be too much with the orange armor, so. Ended up going with this, and yeah, I'm liking it. The pigment gives it really great coverage. And it adds a little bit of thickness to the metal color paint, which is very, very thin. Great coverage on its own, but it's just a very thin, runny paint, which is just kind of something to know about it. I mean, you talk about one coat coverage. This stuff is, excuse the pun, but gold. That was really bad. Please don't unsubscribe because of that. I wouldn't blame you if you did, but. Okay, so I want to do a different color for the fuel tank there, and looking at this now, I was thinking about doing the skull gold as well. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna paint it bone, because I think it's just gonna get lost with this rim of gold there. So maybe I'll do an obsidian skull in there and just kind of work up the black. That could be cool too. Okay, so let's see what gold pieces there are on the weapon mount here. Where you really have to be careful of that, the thinness of the paint. Because it can very quickly get away from you on little thin details like that. Okay. Coming along nicely. Let's see what we got here. It doesn't look like there's anything on that one, but this one has a couple of gold spots. I'm actually going to do this part gold, and then we're going to try some of the heat. What do you call it? The heat staining or whatever. I think that's what it's called. Since, like I said earlier, with Kill Team, you can kind of go all out a little bit. I probably wouldn't do that if I was doing an army, just for time, time's sake. But doing a small force like this, where there's pretty much just the one flamer, heck yeah. And then we'll paint this that same copper color. Let me just go ahead and see if I can find a nice copper metallic. this will do. This was a paint that I mixed. It was an airbrush mix for some of my boarding actions terrain. I think it's like 4-block bronze and maybe Sycorax or something like that. I don't remember the exact mixture, but the reality is it really doesn't matter. Just pick a bronze. Let that dry. Come over to this one. And you can see the difference between the Games Workshop metallics here and the others. Like, I mean, I'm I'm really fighting just to get this coat to not be streaky. Over this black. So alright, we're gonna go back to this one. No, it's had a little bit of a chance to dry. We're going to give that another coat. Better on the coverage with that second coat for sure. All right. So we can kind of see the results of the stream tonight. It's nice greeny gold trim and silver metallics, and even some brass metallics as well. So yeah. It's telling me we are dropping quite a bit of frames at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my desk cam, and we'll close it out. Well, hey, this was fun. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. If you are new here, I really loved having you, Steel Spider, in the chat today. I've got a Discord. If you're interested in connecting with our growing community over there, we have a really great group of people who are just posting their stuff. Hanging out, supporting each other. So I'm going to throw the invite link for that into the chat here. Would love for you to join us over there on Discord. So yeah, whether you are watching currently or you are watching in the future, I hope this has and giving you a new technique or a new paint, or giving you the courage to try something fresh, something new, to paint boldly, and just to enjoy the hobby more. I started doing this stream to basically have community and not sit alone in my room and paint. So it's been fun hanging out with everybody, and all of you are a joy and a pleasure to spend time with. So thanks for being a part of the stream tonight, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you over at the Discord, and we'll be back for another live stream soon. Thanks for watching.